The main story for Ghost of Tsushima revolves around the protagonist, Jin Sakai, as he goes on a journey whilst on a mission to defend the island of Tsushima, its people, and its way of life from the invaded armies of the Mongol Empire. In today's video, we are going to look into not only the lore and backstory of the game and its main characters, but also some of its historical influences. But this is mainly a plot summary of Ghost of Tsushima. So let's start by looking at the historical foundations of the game. The most important real historical figure we know that influenced the game is Kublai Khan, as he is the one that started the series of events that will affect the people of the Tsushima island. After the death of the famous Genghis Khan, the founder of the mightiest Mongol Empire, one of his grandsons became one of the most powerful Mongol emperors ever after he conquered all of China. Khan wanted to use his base in China to expand and capture other countries in the east and southeast, one of these countries being Japan. By the time he had made the decision to invade Japan, he had already conquered Korea, later using this as sort of a launch pad for hundreds of Mongol warships for his Japanese invasion. His invasion would then begin in 1274 with two small islands that separate Korea and Japan. The first of these islands would be the island of Tsushima. In the game, however, Kublai Khan does not appear. He is instead replaced by a character named Khotan Khan, the intelligent and ruthless leader of the invading Mongol army. So, with a quick historical introduction out of the way, let's get into the lore and the summary of the plot of the game itself. The first important person that we meet in the game is Shimura, Jin's uncle. He is a father figure to Jin and also the Lord of Tsushima Island. He raised and trained Jin since childhood in the art of the sword and the traditional ways of the samurai life. One of the most important lessons he passes on to Jin is the honor of the samurai. Jin uses this samurai code of honor as a guide as he matures and grows into a man. A very strong and fierce man, certainly capable of protecting his homeland.
By remaining true to our code and to ourselves. That is the meaning of honor.
On the night that the Mongol army eventually invades Tsushima, Shimura leads a samurai army to defend the island. Jin rides into battle with him. However, they were massively taken back by the size of the Mongol army, as what they didn't know is this army wasn't just here to invade Tsushima, but to take over Japan in its entirety. The samurai were vastly outnumbered and unfamiliar with the fighting style of the Mongols. Defeat was practically inevitable. Through some sort of miracle, however, Jin survived the night of the invasion, though severely wounded. He is discovered by Yuna, a local thief, who nurses him back to health. She informs Jin that most of Tsushima has already fallen to the Mongols. Jin then storms Khotan's stronghold at Castle Kaneda in an attempt to confront Khotan himself and rescue his uncle who had been captured during the battle. But he is quickly defeated and thrown from a bridge. After this, he swears to take revenge and free his people from the Mongols. But he cannot do this while following the somewhat restrictive code of honor set out by the samurai. He must transform into something that can beat the Mongols. He must become the Ghost of Tsushima. From this point on then, Jin begins scouring the island to recruit allies and learn new fighting techniques that will help him in his quest to rescue his uncle and defeat the Mongols. He recruits Yuna, her blacksmith brother Taka, a merchant named Kenji, an expert archer named Ishikawa, female samurai Masako Adachi, and an old friend and mercenary Ryuzo and his straw hat Ronin. So as Jin begins to disrupt the Mongol activities across the island, locals start referring to him as a ghost. He uses unconventional techniques to achieve his goals. For example, Taka creates a special climbing hook that will allow Jin to scale up the side of walls, similar to tactics used by ninjas. It's things like this and attacking from the shadows that go completely against the samurai code of honor. But as mentioned before, Jin is willing to do whatever it takes to win. After rallying up his small force, Jin calls on his new allies to commence the rescue mission. However, poor and hungry, Ryuzo and his straw hat Ronin betray Jin so that they can collect the bounty that had been placed on his head. However, Jin skillfully manages to fend them off, free his uncle Shimura, and take Kaneda Castle. Pretty good effort. Though despite victory here, Khotan had already left and attacked Shimura's castle, with help from Ryuzo and his men. Jin then recruits additional men, Norio and his warrior monks, and the Yarikawa clan. Shimura also recruits the local pirate Goro to send a message requesting reinforcements from the Shogun. Oh, and an announcement stating that he wishes to adopt Jin as his rightful heir. So, with a larger army, now under Lord Shimura's command, and more reinforcements on the way, the odds are starting to look slightly better. And Jin also recovers his family armour from Sakai Plains caretaker Yuriko, who, by the way, teaches Jin how to make poison. Then, early in the night, Jin, accompanied by Taka, heads out to confront Ryuzo. But they are both captured by Koten. He asks them both to surrender, but when Jin refuses, he kills Taka as punishment. Jin escapes with help from Yuna once again, just as the Shogun's reinforcements arrive. Shimura then leads a full assault on the castle and pushes the Mongols back to the inner keep. However, there were great casualties on the samurai side, so realizing that even more lives will be lost in another full frontal attack, Jin defies his uncle's orders and decides to poison the army instead. He sneaks into the castle and poisons the food. Here he confronts Ryuzo again and kills him in combat when he refuses to surrender. That is a whole lot of actions that go completely against the samurai code of honor. Now, despite the castle being retaken bloodlessly, Shimura is furious with Jin, knowing that the Shogun will likely want someone to be executed for these actions. Shimura begins to beg Jin to blame Yuna, but he refuses, fully embracing his role as the ghost. He is then arrested for his crimes, but escapes soon after when Yuna learns of Koten's whereabouts. As Jin begins to track down his nemesis, he discovers that he has also somehow learned how to recreate the poison used in the dishonorable attack, and is using it against the residents of Tsushima. So Jin gathers his allies one more time and assaults Koten's final stronghold. He manages to infiltrate successfully and kill Koten on his flagship. With their leader dead, the Mongol invasion loses its momentum and the tide finally turns into the samurai's favour. Jin is then summoned by his uncle, who informs him that the Shogun considers the ghost to be a threat to the stability of Tsushima. He demands Jin's execution. So, reminiscing about everything they have lost, Shimura and Jin reluctantly battle one another, with Jin emerging victorious. He must then choose if he wants to spare the life of his uncle or grant him a warrior's death. Regardless of his decision, which of course the player gets to choose, he will live out the remainder of his life as a wanted man, as the Ghost of Tsushima. So that was a very quick summary of the story within the game. Of course, it sounds pretty short in a video like this, but most of the story is padded out with gameplay and side missions, and I've got to say, it's a fantastic game. If you would like more detailed videos on characters from Ghost of Tsushima, let us know in the comments down below. Or if you have any suggestions or requests for other games and characters you want us to cover, also let us know down below. We really hope you enjoyed this video. As we're of course a new channel, we would really appreciate a like and subscribe if you think we've earned it. But thank you very much for sticking around to the end of this video, and hopefully we will see you next time on Explore.